In a survey done by a family law firm on the impact of menopause on marriage and relationships, found that 76% of women felt that their partner didn't have the knowledge or the resources to support them through the menopause properly. And 68% of divorces involving women at this time of life were initiated by wives. Good evening and welcome to this episode of Men on Mondays. And my name's Heather. I'm a menopause coach and I support women who are struggling with menopause to look and feel amazing, to sleep better, have more energy, and live life to their fullest. And most importantly, feel like themselves again. And today I'm going to talk about relationships and how we might navigate them while struggling with menopause. Look, we know if you're menopausal or you know someone who is, it can be challenging for them. And inevitably, this will have some sort of impact on their partner and their relationship and even with their kids. Usually, these problems center around a change in the relationship regarding both physical and emotional intimacy. There may be communication problems. At times, even infertility can happen. There may even be anger from unresolved feelings or even some sort of resentment by one partner towards the other. This can feel even worse if their children at home going through puberty or that empty nest feeling when the children leave home or there's illness or even death of parents. All these events can have a huge impact on family relationships. I feel that a lack of information and knowledge about menopause is a general problem that results in negative effect on relationships. When I was when I was perimenopausal, I was so crabby that my children started avoiding me. I was forever shouting at them, so much so that it got to the point that when I walked into the room, they would walk out just to avoid being in my presence. On the one hand, I felt that it gave me the kind of peace that I thought I needed, or so I told myself. But deep down, I was hurt, I was confused, as I struggled to make sense of what was happening to me. At that time, I didn't understand it and therefore was unable to explain what was happening to me to them. Had I known what was happening, actually, had any of us known what was happening, this would have really helped us navigate this stage. And if you're a woman and being a mother is the core to your sense of identity, reaching the end of your fertility period can bring out very strong feelings of loss because often the experience of menopause coincides with children leaving home, which can further make the feelings of loss seem even worse. And for other women who may not have had children, even if the decision to be child free had been a conscious one, you may still feel a sense of loss or regret about the children you never had. So, what I'm saying is that with menopause, there's a sense of loss either way for most women. At this stage, some of you may lose the desire to be intimate with your partner. Sometimes it can be because your body shape is changing, making you feel less confident and perhaps unattractive, and even sometimes invisible. And today's media doesn't help with this at all, as it places value on beauty and youth. Then, when you add on top of this other menopausal symptoms such as depression and anxiety and issues relating to identity, all this can contribute to a feeling of low sexual desire and a loss of self confidence. And then, to top it all, being physically intimate with a partner can be painful too. This is because of a decline in estrogen, which may lead you to feeling even more confused and anxious and not sure why you're not really interested in being intimate or why being intimate is painful. And then this will lead you to avoiding being physically intimate. And you can imagine this can leave your husband feeling hurt and rejected. Communication is really important to keep relationships going on a good note. But how do you explain to someone when you yourself don't even know how you feel, when your emotions like anger, irritability, or impatience can come on so suddenly, and you may be anxious or feeling low for no apparent reason, especially if you used to be a much calmer person? As I've said before, understanding what symptoms you may have when going through menopause really helps during this transition because armed with facts, you can have a starting point for that discussion. My advice is to talk away from the house, go for a walk, go out for dinner, talk about it, and explain how you may want your partner's support, even if they don't get what you're going through. I have a free checklist of the most common and the not so common symptoms of menopause. If you'd like one, just say yes in the comments or send me a message and I will email it to you. So, can the menopause make you feel like you're falling in love? Was one of the questions I was asked. Yes, it can. We have a hormone called oxytocin, and it's called the love hormone. Having a really good physical relationship with your partner very often keeps the oxytocin topped up, which means that you can keep your feelings of love, comfort, and joy with that person going. The problem here is that there seems to be a direct link between estrogen falling and your oxytocin falling. So as your estrogen falls, the levels of your love hormone decreases as well. And for some women, they suddenly realize that the partner that they've been with for a long time no longer makes them happy. It's like having their blinkers taken off. And then they start to review their relationship in a completely different way. Rachel Roberts, Yorkshire Regional Director of Stoll Family Law, said, "We're noticing a significant increase in women in their 40s and 50s filing for divorce, citing issues caused by perimenopause as one of the reasons for their marital breakdown." Their study find their study findings supported this view, with 65% of women stating that their perimenopausal or menopausal symptoms affected their marriage and relationship, which is really quite sad. The thing about this one is not to do anything rash. I've had women who've said they've basically woken up one morning, decided that's it, and they've literally walked away from the relationship without giving it much thought. But if you're in this situation, very often, remember this is part and parcel of the falling estrogen, and it might end up resolving itself. So, my suggestion is think very carefully before taking any drastic actions. Again, in the same study, 50% of women worried that a lack of sexual intimacy would lead to their relationship ending. The top five areas of a relationship most affected by the menopause were loss of physical intimacy, their partner didn't understand what they were going through, they argued, they stopped communicating, and they grew apart or fell out of love. If there are problems around physical intimacy because of pain, because of discomfort, etc., there are ways and means around this. The doctors can help you, and there are some herbs and supplements too that can help. Most importantly, it's about talking this through with your partner to try and come up with some kind of compromise. The study also showed that 77% of women felt that menopause symptoms affected their mental health. You might find that your emotions are getting seriously out of control, and sometimes you can even get physically angry because you can't control yourself or your moods and you're so irritable. This can even start to become unbearable for those around you. Don't despair though. There are some calming remedies out there that you can use. Sometimes even simple things like drinking more water can help us, as dehydration will make you more irritable and your feelings of anger worse. If it's getting to the point where it is really affecting your daily life with your partner, or even at work, or with your friends, or with your children, please see your doctor. Because sometimes the emotional imbalance can be so great that it is not something that over the counter remedies can help. So it's important to know when to ask for help. Don't put up with it, and don't make your partner have to put up with it either. Maybe even work together at going to see your doctor to see if there's something that they can help you with. 47% of women, when asked, felt that the NHS support during the menopause was better. It could have prevented their relationship from ending. And they thought what could have helped them and their partners most during menopause would have been greater awareness of the symptoms, better understanding from their partners, and better support from their GPs. And I wonder if you feel the same way. There are interventions such as HRT, psychosexual therapy, and menopause relationship coaches. This can be really helpful if you're having problems with your relationship. But before it gets that far, try sharing information about menopause, its symptoms, and what you're going through. Let your partner know that it's not about them, and give them permission to let you know if you cross the line, but to do it gently. And that brings me to the end of this Meno Mondays. Have a lovely week. Bye for now.